Good morning, beautiful heart. How are you today? Welcome back. If you're new and this is the first time seeing me, welcome to my little piece of the internet where your cells are listening, your soul wants to speak, and we dive in to see what messages we need to hear today from our higher self. All right, so how did you do yesterday? I know the energy has been kind of odd. Yes, I have Mr. Cremungen here, so he's not an early morning dragon, and as you can see, it's early morning. So, anyways, it's the last couple of days has been interesting. It's been very different than what we've had the week before, even the last 2 weeks. So we have definitely shifted. We are now in Libra season. So, and coming into October, we're going to start to feel more of a balanced type of energy, but don't think things won't get crazy. They will. We're still traversing through this wild jungle. I've been describing it as like an adventure park, but now it's about balance. The hard lifting, the rough energy that we've gone through, which really was an opportunity, excuse me, for us to level up. And how do you level up on such a high level is you go within first. So yeah, it was extremely uncomfortable, but it needed to happen. So now October, so September was intense, and I'd been saying that since the beginning of the year that summer things were gonna crank up, hit fall, and things were really just gonna start jumping. And we've seen it. So now, September, we had two moons in, or two eclipses in Virgo. We had a full moon eclipse, we had a solar eclipse. Well, guess what we're going to have in October? 3 eclipses. So, I'm not expecting them to be as intense as what we just went through, but make no mistake about it. The rest of 2025 is really going to speed up, and it is still on that theme of transformation. Sorry, buddy. On transformation and being on this new timeline. So if you're watching and you know you made this jump to this new timeline, you feel weird. You could feel uncomfortable, kind of not sure what to do. Things are different, but you really don't know what's coming or what have you. You're in the right spot. You really are. It's outside of your comfort zone where the magic happens. And I mean, if you want to call it literal magic, go ahead. For me, it's metaphysics. It's the universal laws, where the rubber meets the road, where all of this stuff that we've had in theory now gets put into our daily practical life. All right, so if you're still listening, let's get into the overall energy for today. During meditation, what came out was number 43, adapt to a new situation. Isn't that what we're doing? You may still be, I don't want to say stuck in the old, but that could be how it feels to you. But you are feeling that change is coming. And it is. And again, like I said, you want to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Outside of your comfort zone really is where the magic happens. That's where the freedom is. That's where this whole new timeline is. You cannot activate, and when I say activate, what I mean is you cannot experience in your 3D this new energy if your attention is on the old energy. It's just not going to work. You are going to have physical signs. Your body's going to get hurt, or not get hurt. Your body's going to hurt, aches and pains, things like that. Trapped energy showing up physically, frustration, anger, kind of feeling like you're swimming upstream in a sandpaper bathing suit. Hey buddy, what's up? You want to cause trouble? Do you want to cause some trouble? So that's when you know you're in resistance. And resistance just means you are fighting against the current flow. You somehow, somewhere within your consciousness, because that's what we talk about over here on this channel, you're still subscribing to the old story somehow, some way. That's what's trying to get your attention so you can let it go. The second card that came out is the same card that came out the other day, and this card seems to be coming out each time I use this deck now. This one's number 45. Be the powerful space between opposite poles. What are opposite poles? It's polarity. So 3D, 5D. And if you're right there in the middle, this is that liminal space where in the now moment, because all you have is this now moment. You can't go back to the past. The future hasn't come yet. All you have is now. When you can be in that now moment and manifest from that now moment, again, that doesn't mean, oh, you know, in the past, I wasn't chosen, or this didn't happen, or whatever. Leave that shit in the past. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Okay? You can't go back to it. You can't change what happened there. You want to change what happened there, you do it now. You do it in the today. And you do it by thinking and feeling differently. This timeline, you are supporting you. You are your biggest cheerleader. Truth be told, all along, the validation, the love, acceptance that you've been seeking from outside of you through everybody else, that's the matrix. That's altered ego. That tells you you're not good enough unless so-and-so says so. Or, you know, some of you may be dealing with financial stuff. If you are beating yourself up internally for mistakes you made way back when, financially or whatever, and trying to say, well, I'd be in a much better place financially today if I didn't do this, this, or this, or if so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Stop rehashing the past. Stop fighting for your limitation, because altered ego is over there listening and going, oh, you like that, right? All right, let me give you some more. Since that's what you're focused on, here comes more. Not only here comes more of that, let's pile it on. Let's make sure you really get these experiences. That's all that's happening. It has nothing to do with your value and worth. It's about understanding universal laws and working with them. And you can have an understanding of metaphysics and universal laws, and they not work in your life because you haven't done the housework, the cleaning up of your thoughts and your emotions. I used to really teach that a lot, you know, a few years ago. I do feel it's time to bring that back, kind of going back to the basics. Let's refresh those for us veterans who have been doing this and know this. It's always good as a refresher. As I've said before, any of my videos, even my courses, things like that, you could go back and replay them over and over. And each time you are going to get a different nugget to help you grow. That's just how I work. That's how the courses and even the readings are set up. You know, you'll get what you need out of this reading today for this level of where you're at. You upgrade this week, and guys, you know we've been upgrading almost daily, but you upgrade and you wake up one morning and feel really different, whether that's next week, the following week, a month from now, whatever. And somehow this video comes across your feed, or you stumble upon it, you remember it, whatever, and you play it, you are actually going to get something out of it for that new level where you're at, okay? So that's what this is all about, that the answer to everything that you've been looking for and to manifest, again, I don't care if it's money, a position, a person, whatever. The universal laws work universally. You just have to work with them. And here's the thing. You have been working with them this whole freaking time, even when you didn't know. So this is what I'm saying. Don't take my word for it. Prove it to yourself, because honestly, you've been doing that this whole time. For those of you who are sitting there going, but Danae, you don't know what I've been through. This has been my whole life. I'm alone. I'm always alone. I go through this betrayal. I go through this, and it's been a hard time, blah, blah, blah. I hear you. Guys, I know. Oops, sorry. Sorry, Bubby. I was that. I used to do that as well. That's what I'm saying. You can intellectually know the universal laws or a theory or a principle, but you have to make it real in your life for it to really stick. So I'm going to ask you to think about this. Every time you think you're having an intuitive hit, let's just go with that. But you've been up in your mind, kind of going back and forth, and you lock onto a thought form. Well, I know this is what's going on. Well, you know, blah, blah, blah. Or I don't want to manifest what I've always had. But that's the vibration you're in this now moment. Have you noticed that when that's happened and you've been thinking about something with really strong feelings and you're wanting to manifest and you're manifesting more of what you don't want and then saying, see, it doesn't work? You're wrong. I'm calling you out on it right now. It did work. Because manifestation, metaphysically, it's the emotions that magnetize to you that frequency or better. So yeah, my friend, you've been manifesting this whole time. Yeah, you're manifesting crap you don't want because that's where your attention is. That's where the self-mastery journey gets intense. Why? Because you've got to deal with you. Yeah, you're stubborn. Oh yeah, you're stubborn. And I know all about stubbornness. I'm a Taurus sun. So not only am I a Taurus sun, so it's just in my nature to be stubborn, I'm also neurospicy. So all my neurospicy friends, raise a hand if you can be stubborn. We can be. It's just in our wiring. And I'm not here to tell you being stubborn is wrong. I'm not saying that at all. There are times you need to be. What I'm saying though is the stubbornness will trip you up. You'll be in an argument in your head and you're thinking it's your intuition. Intuition doesn't come from your head, number one. So if it's in your head and you're arguing with it, not your intuition. Intuition doesn't argue, okay? Anyways, this is how we gaslight ourselves. This is how we stay stuck and in resistance and kind of dig our heels in while we're watching all these other people manifest and we're over here. Well, you know what, all that lower vibration and it's comparison. It's all kinds of just lower vibrational. I almost said mildew. I meant to say residue, but it could be like mildew, mold, whatever. So your point of attraction in the now moment is always going to be your feelings. So if you've been manifesting from that place of, well, I don't want this, and thinking that you're going to outsmart the universe by saying, well, if I keep telling it what I don't want, it will hear me and then bring me everything that I want. Wrong thinking. The universe, source, whatever, it doesn't decipher. It doesn't go, oh, let me check the logs. Oh yeah, here you are. Oh yeah, you're on record. Oh, a lot for what you don't like. Oh, you don't like that. Oh, you don't like that. You don't like that. But yet that's all you're focused on. That's all I can give you. The universe can't change your mind. It can't go, oh, well, you don't want this. Let me give you this. No. You have to be on record for what you want to have that show up. So just look at your own history. Look at every time you've been trying to manifest from a place of not having it. What have you gotten? More what you don't want. It's not that this doesn't work. It's your point of attraction in the now moment when you're trying to manifest that is skewed. Stop blaming everything else. Put on your big girl panties, big boy panties, whatever. Take in a deep breath. Suck it up, buttercup. Face yourself and get gut level honest. I know it's not comfortable, but hey, we're all about doing uncomfortable shit over here, right? Hell, I'm leading the train on this one. Hop aboard. We're going to uncomfortable city, but guess what? We're going to have freaking fun on our way to being uncomfortable. We're going to make jokes about it. We're going to laugh about it. We're going to turn this into fun with ease and grace. Why? Because when you're in an energy of ease and grace, fun and joy, no matter what is going on, you are already in a higher vibrational level. You're not focused on what isn't happening, what hasn't happened, what you don't have, what Sally Sue has, and why don't you have it? And if you're listening and you really haven't evolved to the level that I'm talking about, please understand there's no judgment here, but I'm not going to sugarcoat this shit. I'm going to call it out as it is because that's what you need. You are in your own way. If you're over here going, well, why does so-and-so have this life and this, and this, and this, but I'm over here, blah, 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 blah. You are in the absolute wrong energy. You are creating karma, not dharma. Over here, we're all about creating dharma because we've already faced our karma. But if you're still on the karma train, hey, keep listening. Yeah, I'm going to trigger the hell out of you. But that trigger is for you to go within and say, okay, where am I not living up to my potential? Bubby, what do you want? Where are you going? What you doing? Any type of comparison or looking at somebody else's life, especially on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, and making a story about it, you're bitch slapping your inner child. You're living in basically a matrix overlay that's holding you back. Over here, we don't compete. We don't compare. The only person we're in competition with is our old self to be a better self. I'm not in competition with anybody else. I'm not in competition with any of the other metaphysicians, tarot readers, energy workers, light workers, whatever. I'm not. They're not my competition. I see them more as peers. And I don't compare to them or compare myself to them. What, bub? So if that's something that you're doing, then you've got to watch that, because guess what? That's going to hinder your relationship. It's going to hinder your finances. Um, so yeah, even gossiping against yourself, talking smack about yourself will hinder your manifestation. So get on board. In this now moment, you have to feel into that vibration of what you want. Number 16, retreat into nature, solitude. This has been coming up a lot. Ground yourself, get outside, hug a tree, put your feet in the grass. You know, if you're by a river, lake, ocean, get your feet in the sand, in the water. And if for whatever reason you're not near any of that, or you can't leave the house for whatever reason, either take a saltwater bath, a shower, bring live plants in around you, hug a plant, animals, something like that, so you can ground. This is calling for a stable, grounded energy. As Gaia, Mother Earth, those are the same terms, goes through this massive change, just like we are. Grounding and staying in balance is huge. And remember, I opened this up talking about we're moving into a time of balance. So in this liminal space between, the adventure parks and being on the roller coasters or the rides, when you get off the ride, you're kind of like, whoa. And some of you may be experiencing that physically. For those of you who have been with me for a while, you know the beginning of 2025, up until about June, I was going through some really weird physical things that I had never experienced. I've never really dealt with vertigo or dizziness or seasickness. I mean, I love boats. I love being on the water. I don't have an issue with seasickness. But if you guys remember, from January through June, March and April and May is when this was so intense. It was like I was nowhere near water. I was not in a moving vehicle. I was here in my office and felt so seasick all the time. I was so dizzy, so nauseous. Incredible headaches, had to miss out on a few trips and things because I was so seasick. I don't know how else to say it. I ended up in the hospital, and they, gave me some stuff for migraines because I ended up with those as well. But the seasickness, the vertigo, the dizziness, things like that. On this ascension path, I didn't know, but that when you're really leveling up and you're changing your body system, not just the neural pathways in your brain, which that is something that we do here, is when I don't have you rehash your trauma. Not at all. We don't do that over here. But different traumas, even emotional, rewrite the neural pathways in your brain. You start to fire off a little different. Your signals are a little different. But guess what? On this journey of self-mastery, self-healing, back to authenticity, you can rewrite those. Anyways, I don't want to go too much into that. What I'm saying is this change, this year, you could have been experiencing some crazy physical symptoms, and the doctors can't find out why. Ascension symptoms are real. And this has been, we've been changing our physical bodies from a denser matter to a more crystalline matter, completely different. Modalities to help us with that are different, and you're going to start seeing them just start to come online. It may seem overnight. It hasn't been overnight. Many of us have been behind the scenes working on them. I'm talking light therapy, sound therapy. There are scientists right now, spiritual scientists, and I really look forward to connecting with them. But spiritual scientists that are mapping the body, looking at every organ in the body with frequency and vibration. What frequency and vibration is a healthy lung at versus a sick one or a diseased one. So in other words, it is now going to become more mainstream that your thoughts and your emotions that are stored on your cells have a lot to do with what happens in your body. We're now finally at that point where, guess what? The next few years, it's the metaphysicians that have the answers. Where before we really weren't accepted, or our theories weren't accepted, things like that. We've kind of been on the outskirts. Watch out, world. We're no longer on the outskirts. We are about to be mainstream. So what does that mean for you? Yes, you're changing. And if you're new and you're still here and you're like, wow, you're kind of locked into this, hit that subscribe button. Hit that notify button so you're notified whenever I end up posting. Like, comment, all of that is energy transfer. And if you want more energy sessions that feel like personal sessions to you, but they're not, leave a comment, subscribe. I can tap into your energy even more when you're engaging, because that's that open door for me to look at. All right, let's keep going because I'm 27 minutes in. 52, run wild for a while. Yeah, you have just gone through some really intense times. Allow yourself to be free right now and play. Find out what you like, what makes you happy, what do you want to be doing. Do more of that. I'm not saying, I don't know if you can see little man here. He's trying to look at the camera. I'm not saying whatever I wasn't saying. See? Anyways. 7 of Cups. You may have many different things you can start, look at, work on. If that is something that has been holding you back, like, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do, this, that, or the other, just pick one. It's not about right or wrong. It's about whatever experience you're going to have. Because whatever decision you make, you're going to have experiences too. Excuse me, sir. 6 of Pentacles. Yeah. Do what you love, what makes you happy, whatever lights your cells on fire, because when you do that, you are going to be abundant. You cannot not be, because you're coming from a place of authenticity, hope, and joy. Page of Swords. For me, with this card and this reading, and I am an intuitive reader, this is about strategy. And, have a plan. It doesn't have to be rock solid. It can have a loose plan, but write it down. Write out some sort of strategy. At the top of the paper, put whatever it is you want or want to be. And then underneath that, just allow your mind and your feelings to run free. Write out whatever comes forth of ideas of how to make that happen. But again, this is to get you in flow. Remember to always say, all of you and none of me. Basically, you're saying, all of you, soul, none of my personality, none of my ego. And then you're basically on record saying, hey, show up and show off, God. Show up and show off, source, universe, whatever word you use. That's what I'm talking about, strategy. Here, King of Wands in reverse. Who here is afraid of your own ideas? Who here is in resistance of what you know you're supposed to be doing? Because that's what that's saying. I'm challenging you. Get out of your own way. If I have to get out of my own way, I'm going to be telling you, get out of your own way. Let's get on this train. Let's do this together. You are not alone. Accept all of you in all of your neurospiciness. The one thing about us neurodivergents, we are unique. And I know many of us were ridiculed, made fun of, bullied because of that, because we are different. Our brains processes different. Different doesn't mean wrong. And I know how hard it is for neurotypicals to see neurodivergence. I grew up in it. I know. I was made to feel ignorant, stupid, especially when it comes to math. Guys, math is not my thing at all. I mean, I can add, subtract, and divide. I could do that. Can I do it all in my head like some math people? Absolutely not. And I remember I used to get in trouble in math class all the time. The teachers, I think, used to think I was faking it. And I'm like, why the hell would I want to do that? Why do I want to be called out every day in class, get sent to the principal's office, being made fun of in front of the class because I truly didn't understand? And I'd break down crying, get sent to the principal's office, and one of the things, I was one of those kids that always asked why. Well, why this? Why that? But in math, I remember them like trying to really drill it into me. And one of my comments, and yes, this was actually in junior high. And in junior high, back when I went to junior high, we got paddled. And there were different size paddles with different holes and the different amounts of holes in the paddles. And I remember getting sent to the principal's office to get paddled because what came out of my mouth, I didn't really have a filter, in math class was, why do I need to do this? Why do I need to show my work? By the time I really need this, because the teachers were like, well, when you're an adult, when you get a job, you're going to need to know this. Back then, and we're talking like 1980, 81, like really early 80s, I would pop off and say, we're going to have calculators that do that. That's their purpose. Why do I want to take away from their purpose and do it on my own? So I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying that's the kid I was. And I always got sent to the principal's office. In high school, it wasn't really the principal's office. I had to go to the advisor's office all the time, to where now the math class, you open one of the doors, there was a hallway right to the advisor's office. So it was a short walk. And these two math teachers were loud to begin with. So you would always hear, Danae, Steins' office. Off I went. Then it got to the point I didn't like the humiliation, so I just stopped showing up. I was like, forget this. Anyways, again, not saying my choices are accurate. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm sharing what I did and how it made me feel. And my family would do the same thing. That, when we'd have family dinners, that was an every Sunday thing. I'm Italian. It's what we do. Innocent conversation with the family, people asking me about myself. And I start to share Sure enough, somebody, some family member, I won't name names, would then like make fun of me. So what did I learn? I learned I didn't like to be around family. I didn't like to be around crowds. I didn't like to be in situations where I might get called on to say something and then get ridiculed or bullied or made fun of in front of people. Yeah. So I don't even know what started me on that path. But if that's something that you find yourself dealing with, the key to get through all that is accepting all of you and your quirks. And yeah, guess what? You don't see things the way other people do. Newsflash, you're not supposed to. You're not. You're unique for a reason. And that reason is this time. Now is the time to shine. Now is the time for us neurodivergents to really show up in our authenticity and let people see the truth of who we are. Yeah, I know it's uncomfortable. I'm not saying the old ways aren't going to happen because I know I'm having experiences where I will speak my truth or speak up in a meeting or something and just say, wait a minute, that's not how I see it, or I don't understand that. And it has been uncomfortable. And there have been a couple of people who tried to make me feel stupid or feel like I didn't know what I was talking about. So I had that opportunity to either react in the old way or just go, no, you're not going to do this to me. This, and this, and standing my ground and speaking my truth. I have chosen to stand my ground and speak my truth. As I said, it hasn't been comfortable, but I've been doing it, and I'm watching different outcomes. I'm watching this time around, my neurospiciness is seen as an asset, not a deficit. Sometimes you got to change your circle. So for those of you out there that are finding yourself, you're not relating to people you used to relate to, your friend circle is really, really small, it's okay. There's a reason and a purpose for it. It's allowing you the time to really get to know yourself and accept yourself. Once you do that, once you start getting on that path, guess what? New people are going to show up in your life that match that vibration. So you're on a path of all new. Every area of your life is changing. So like I said earlier, get comfortable being uncomfortable. We're on the uncomfortable train, and we're going to be uncomfortable together. We're going to have fun, and we're going to get there. So, all right, guys. Woo, almost 40 minutes. I'm going to leave it here. Hope you got something out of this. As always, I am sending you oceans and oceans of love from my heart to yours. I'm Dr. Danae, your mirror and your messenger. Remember, what you feel, you make real. Until tomorrow, bye-bye.